Alright guys, welcome back to the GSL. We're at the GSTL. Today we've got a special treat. We've got FXOunited, otherwise known as F.United, playing against MVP.
First time we've seen them all season for the GSTL. I'm super excited to see what they have in store for us. And they're also the team that has the most foreigners. Of course, we've got Thorze, Naniwa, and Phoenix on that team as well. So here they come right now. Their theme is from Apollo 440. Have you ever heard of that?
I've never heard of that.
All right. Well, anyway, there's F.United. As you can see, not the biggest team ever, but, you know, there's a lot of power on that team, too, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Now,
a lot of familiar faces in there, of course. Thorze, Naniwa, and Phoenix, three foreigners. And, of course, you can see Lin, Soccer, and Moon.
You know, Soccer is actually one that I'm really curious about. Because we haven't really seen a lot of games from him, so I don't know. I'm just hoping they play him today. I'd like to see him play.
Well, they are going to be starting with Phoenix, so I know he's going to be their starter. Soccer could come out, I think. I think Soccer actually might be one of the weaker players, though, based on what I've seen of his and even outside of the GSL, but he might have improved. I know that a lot of these We Made Fox players have been practicing for Warcraft 3.
Yeah, that's the other big thing is that a lot of these guys still do play Warcraft 3, so they do have to divide their practice time a little bit.
Yeah.
And obviously that does have an impact, you know? It's not like everybody can be MVP Violet, play both Warcraft 3 and Starcraft 2. And
I can see like the back of my head. This is crazy, man.
Whoa,
look,
that is the background. Look, I'm pointing at the back of Wolf's head right now.
I know, man. Look, there's John right there.
That's right. He's looking at us like, what are they talking about? Oh, he lifted his arm.
He looked at us.
Wow, John lifted his arm. Yes, there is FXOunited. They have no closer. Uh-oh. That's a worry. But their key players are Lin and Thorze. Interesting. Both Terran players.
Yeah. And, of course, Moon you can see as the captain. And Lee Hyo Min, a very famous name here in Korea. You know, We Made Fox coach. Everyone knows that guy, man. Look at that spread of races. It looks uneven, but the difference between Pro and Terran is, of course, just one, and there's only one Zerg. There's only 6 players on the team.
Looks like the same pie chart that describes like Code A and Code S this season.
Same distribution. So you can see there's the whole team. Soccer, Phoenix, Moon, Naniwa, Thorze, and Lin.
You know, we were talking about it before we came on. We were hoping they were going to use that picture of Naniwa right after he won that game where he looks like a crazy person, but they didn't. Oh, well, maybe next time.
Yeah, it's true.
Looking good either way. There's the team. They seem like they're in a pretty good mood today.
Yeah, I asked Naniwa how he felt, and he said, I don't know. And then I said, are you hoping to play today? And he said, I think so. So we'll see. That's all I know, man. That's all I was told.
I'd say just judging from the previous interviews we've heard with him.
All right, now here comes MVP. They are the highest seed right now, currently undefeated. Their point spread is ridiculously high as well. They have been crushing the Team League this season. They've got hats.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means.
It means I think they're going to want to give those away if they win some games.
Violet appears to be sick. He's wearing a mask, so I don't know if that's going to affect anything.
Team cheer there. And who's going to get the hats from Team MVP? Hopefully nobody gets the contaminated hat that Violet has.
They actually gave the hats out right now.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to know more about those hats.
Well, if you get the hat from Violet, don't lick your hands after you handle it. Could get a cold, something like that. There's a happy MVP fan getting a nice flag. That is actually the coolest little gift you can get is a flag with the logo and all the signatures. That's actually awesome, man.
Look at that hat. That guy looks like he's pretty happy about his hat. He's like, look at this hat.
Is that the one? I don't know. Let's put it on right away. Looks great.
I'm sure it's probably a sponsor of MVP. I just don't know the exact. I don't know exactly what company that is or anything. So I wish I could give you guys more info, but I can't.
It's okay, Wolf. I won't hold it against you.
All right.
Don't worry about it, man. All right. So here's MVP. Their key players, of course, are Genius, Violet, and Keen. Their closer is Dongregu. But the question is, Wolf, what sort of mental state is he going to be in after his Code A match today?
Well, I don't know, man. He's still the final boss. You get that guy in the back of a corner, and he goes wild. I think he's probably going to be even stronger today than usual. You can see the distribution there is quite strong, taking out TL and Prime.
Yep.
Even beating Slayers as well.
Can they take out F.United, kind of even out the graphic a little bit more?
Yeah, they're actually just going to become a full thing. Look at that graph. It's got a random player in there.
Yeah, I know. MVP Guinea Pig, currently the only random player in the GSL. I don't know if you can really count StarTale Superstar. He's not in the GSL, so I suppose you can't. There's the team.
Yeah, their starter today, I actually don't see him on there, but he's Nalza.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about that too. We had never seen him play. He is in TLPD. He used to be MVP 1, and apparently he was on IM for a short time, I guess, according to TLPD. So, who knows? There's the MVP.
Maybe I was thinking maybe he's a Nalra wannabe. He's a Protoss player.
Could be, man.
If you look at a Z, it's kind of like an R in the sense that it goes like in the same direction.
Yeah, and sometimes that's kind of substituted here, for that.
Yeah.
Explaining the rules right there, as you guys can probably hear.
I'm not sure if that audio is like perfectly the right thing. That was kind of weird.
I think it's like the NFL thing where they like try to attach cameras to the players.
That was kind of
not cameras, not cameras.
Yeah,
microphones.
mics. Yeah.
They attach cameras to the players. It'd be very disorienting.
Well, look at this. Now you guys can see the point distribution. Actually, MVP not quite as high as I thought. TSL just a little bit higher, but both MVP and TSL really, really high.
Well, yeah, MVP is really solidly in second place at the very least. Now, and if they take the match today, TSL plays later in the night, so if they lose that, that'll definitely even things up
They'll
quite a
change
bit.
the distribution to make their seeding for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Obviously, both TSL and MVP are pretty much set for playoffs. Things could go wrong, but at this point, it's very unlikely that they won't be able to make it.
Yeah, I'd be pretty shocked if they weren't in it. What I am a little bit shocked about too is that Slayers didn't make it. That's a little bit surprising.
Yeah, that is a little bit surprising.
After winning the last 2 GSTLs, there's Dong Regu, everybody's fan favorite Zerg over on Team MVP. And here's me. I'm Doe, and with me is Wolf. Thanks for joining us today. You saw Wolf and Moletrap cast Code A a little bit earlier today. I was watching that from the GOM house. I was kind of like, here's what I do. I have the GSL on one monitor, and then on the other monitor, I have like the build order tester thing that QXC made, and I'll be like running through builds on my notepad document open to like do stuff. That's my GSL watching setup. I don't know. What's yours?
Well, actually, I just have GSL open full screen on my main monitor. On my other display, I have Skype, and I chat with people about the games or IRC. That's usually how I watch the GSL.
Cool. And yeah, lots of different ways to watch the GSL. I used to watch it at home on like a big projector too.
I watched it back at home. I didn't have a projector, but I watched it late at night. I usually didn't miss it. If I did, though, I always bought the premium package. Watch the VODs. You guys should do that too, especially for the Team League because there's so much content.
Yeah, no kidding, man. It's the Team League. I mean, I love the individual stuff, right? But the Team League is like my favorite thing by far. Every time I get to cast the Team League, I get so excited. Just because there's so much. I think there's like more strategy. I love the team aspects that are sort of inserted into this normal StarCraft.
Well, it's really cool with the Winners League format where you have, the winner stays up. That's, I think, the best format, in my opinion, for Team League because it evolves all these strategies and things where everything is really planned. So that's my opinion. I really like this format. Plus, the new format we have with group play is awesome as well.
Yeah.
Now, there's Phoenix, the starter for F.United. We saw him recently lose to Tassadar. That's why his record is 0-1 there. And, those were not the most straight-up games, but I think Phoenix just got a little outclassed. Even so, that record's not very telling of Phoenix. It's like he's never played StarCraft before. That was his placement match against Tassadar. He's played a lot. He did really, really well in a lot of different MLGs and IEM.
Well, I liked how you put it when they played yesterday, where the Code A rounds that these guys played this season aren't really all that important. That's just kind of their introduction to Korean StarCraft. These guys are staying for a while. So that was just kind of like, here's a little bit of taste of the booth. Here's how it feels. Now, go practice, get really good. And when these guys come back in a month, I think we're going to see some very interesting, much different results.
Yeah, I think so too.
So Phoenix right now, he and Thorzane are actually living at the Fox House.
Yes.
Whoa, flames from the GSL studio. A Phoenix rising from the flames.
Well, maybe only if he gets burned on fire after he wins. He's doing a celebration. Now over here we have MVP Juan. Oh, I forgot. That's why I couldn't find his name when I was looking. I'd never seen him before. Now obviously his other idea is Nalza.
Yeah. Nalza.
Nalza, not Nalra.
Not Nalra, no.
Oh, we're just gonna call him Juan from now on. That's his name. That's why he's using that. So.
Yep. And as you can see right on the screen, it's his first time playing in the GSL. Hasn't been seen in Code A, hasn't been seen in the Team League either. So it'll be interesting. We've got someone that actually has less experience than Phoenix in the booth at the GSL.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, MVP, I think they're going to try to use this match as something to give maybe some of their newer players a little bit more booth time. FXOunited, people are kind of expecting, is not going to maybe be the strongest team. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. We could be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's pretty obvious that John the Translator is running across the screen, but it's... Oh, there we saw him. He can't escape, but keep changing camera angles, and he can't
Looks
get
like
out
he
of
just
there.
walked through the wall, the ghost of John the Translator.
Well, I was just going to say, it's pretty obvious that F.United is not one of our stronger teams.
Yeah.
We've got Warcraft 3 players who have been practicing for Warcraft 3 for WCG recently. They're just now jumping back into practicing hardcore for the Team League. These non-Korean players haven't been in Korea for very long. They haven't had enough time to really get ready and get prepped. And you'll see probably most likely F.United be similar to FXOpen, whereas the longer they're here, the longer they're practicing, the better they'll do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these guys have, you know, not only very little experience playing in Korea, if we're talking about our pro players, but very little experience as a team, you know? Because that's the thing, is that you can take a team that doesn't maybe have the best results in the individual leagues, but yet, like, crushes people in the team league because it's a completely different sort of competition. So,
yeah,
you know, who knows? We'll see what happens.
Well, I'm ready to jump into the first game. The map is going to be Daybreak, our new map.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention too, that game that you and I casted on Daybreak the other day.
The TPT one, the crazy one?
Yeah, the crazy one that had like Hunter Seeker Missile and stuff. That was actually the longest game ever played in the GSL.
Yes, someone confirmed that.
Yeah, Jinro had apparently a 51-minute game a couple seasons
ago.
ago.
Yeah, against Ensnare, I think it was.
I think
it was on like Shattered Temple or Lost Temple. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to jump into the game now, guys. Game 1 between F.United and MVP. Phoenix versus Juan here at the GSTL.
All right, well, up here at the top of GSL Daybreak, we have our yellow Terran player from the team F.United. He is
F.United Phoenix.
F.United Phoenix, also known as Fnatic Phoenix. There he is, all the way from Peru. That's a long way to come to go to Seoul.
Yeah.
And here's his opponent from the team MVP. We've never seen him before in the GSTL. He is
MVP 1.
MVP Juan. So I wonder if the name, his name Juan, is like referring to the currency in Korea.
Well,
possibly one is in I won. What, I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I know it's part of his actual Korean name.
Oh. Oh yeah, you're right.
But I don't think it's spelled the same way as the actual currency is. I looked at it earlier. I don't remember exactly, but maybe his name is just a Korean name that means he's going to be wealthy. I don't know. I actually didn't look at his name that closely, so I can't tell you guys.
Maybe he just likes his name. I don't know.
Well, a lot of players use their names in their IDs. For example, MC, JYP.
Yeah.
For example, just off the top of my head.
Yeah, the players here definitely do prefer the real names.
SC.
Even back when I first got here in March, I was getting my Korean account, and one of the old coach from Slayers helped me get it, and I was joking around. I'm like, should I name it Slayers Doe? And he's like, no, you should name it Slayers Eric. I'm like, oh. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes more sense. But I didn't name it Slayers Eric, though, so. Not yet.
Is Doa and Slayers?
Not yet, Wolf. Let's try. I can see the threads popping up already.
Project A? Part 2?
Hey, man, I'll be Yellow's practice partner. My TVZ is pretty bad right now.
I don't know. You and Yellow seem about the same skill level right now, man.
And no more will be said about that. So, well, I can make a mean line of bunkers. I'll put it that way. All right. I could sound that out. Take a while.
Oh.
CP.
She's hiding, but we captured her on camera.
That's right. People have that VOD for the rest of the time now.
Well, it looks like Juan, I keep wanting to call him Nalzog because that's what I told myself in my head that his name was. Now it's like, oh, it's not right. He is taking his second gas here. Now, Daybreak's a map where we've seen a few TVPs. Harassment options are almost unlimited on this map. There's several different attack pathways for the Terran to use. There's several different dropship areas. The main itself is huge.
Yeah.
There's places for units to hide all over the place. We are going to have a Marauder expand from Phoenix by the looks of it.
Yep.
Although he has taken his second gas very quickly.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. That's a little bit odd. You usually don't see the second gas so quickly after a Marauder expand, so it does make me kind of curious what he's going to do. It's always interesting because after you cast so many games of like Korean-style StarCraft 2, you'll see things from like the European scene and the American scene, and you're going to be like, oh, I haven't seen that very often, but it's something apparently that's done all the time. So
yeah,
this could be one of those things.
And yeah, he's just going to get a factory beyond this. So 1 barracks in the factory, it's not very common to get the tech lab like that.
Well,
he could follow up with like a different kind of timing attack with the factory, but I don't think that's what his plan is.
Part of me wonders a little bit if it's going to be like he's going to harass with Banshees, but he wanted to get the Marauder with slow out right away to catch those early Phoenix themselves that might come across the map.
Well, that's cool because, I mean, sometimes this happens to me. Uh-oh, we're going to lose a sentry here.
Yeah.
That's pretty huge.
That's why you get slow. Oh, no, he's not going to. Oh, that's just sad.
Well, he is going to be able to pressure up this ramp, just barely being able to force seal that off.
Marauder,
but even
like
so, the Mars could
through.
come up and attack again if they so choose.
Yeah, it's
in
actually...
fact, he can see the ramp with that watchtower.
That's a little bit ridiculous just how strong Marauders are in like really early game TPP.
So by the looks of it, Phoenix is just doing a 2 racks, but he made the factory first. And he's added the tech lab onto the factory. So he is, going to be following this up with a Banshee. Now, what I was trying to talk about earlier before Sentries got caught in the middle of the map, the Sentry was interrupting me, is that I'm more important than you, Sentry. You didn't even die, you got away, and I was just talking about it. Just taking all the attention. What you can do is you can do this type of Marauder aggression, then your opponent, without scouting, kind of thinks to himself, oh, he's going bio.
Exactly.
And then Cloak comes out. And then you are not prepared.
This is actually really, really exciting. I've actually never seen an opening like this before.
Oh man, he's getting a Twilight as well. Not looking good for Juan right now.
Yeah, he certainly won't be able to do much about the Banshee. And I mean, you always look at the Twilight console and you think DTs, and if those show up in the Terran base when there's no scans, there can be trouble. But there's bigger trouble, much bigger trouble, Wolf, if a Cloaked Banshee shows up in a Protoss base and there's no Robo Bay or cannons.
Yeah, that's true. And speaking of DTs, if by any chance Juan is wanting to go DTs after this expansion, having this tech let up is going to be even better. He's going to be able to make a Raven, and then that can get pretty nasty too.
Yeah, I mean, he could follow this up with more bio. He could follow it up with like Tank Marine Banshee. I mean, he could
whoa! What am I seeing? Fast Templar Archives. The fastest Templar Archives.
Interesting.
I'm thinking we're probably going to see some early Archons. I don't think he's going to commit Storm research right now.
Well, this is great. This is 2 very unique openings from both of these players. I love this stuff, Wolf. This is why I
know
love
it's exciting, man. Well, now keep in mind, with that Fast Templar Archives, if he feedbacks the Banshee at the right moment, the Cloak won't be able to be applied, but if the Cloak comes on first, he won't be able to feedback.
And Cloak is just about to finish right now. The Banshee's starting to do lots of damage to the mineral line.
All of the units are away for Juan. His units are way out in the middle of the map.
Oh, but there's the Templar. If he feedbacks the Banshee, and he does, he gets it. No Cloak for Phoenix at all. I'm pretty sure that Phoenix was not expecting to see a Templar in the base that early, man.
Yeah, I don't think so either, man. And the Robo is being made right now for Juan. Banshee gets cleaned up, did get a significant amount of kills. Killed 4 workers.
I'm sure Phoenix is going to cloak this Banshee before he gets into the base this time. That's got to be such a shock to go for such a strange opening, and then suddenly there's Templars feedback your Banshee.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
The Ghost Academy put up immediately.
I think that's a great decision too, man. Yeah, whether it's Templar or it's Archons, you definitely want EMP. Here comes the second Banshee. No feedback going to be casted on this one. Can't feedback invisible units.
Yeah, and the Banshee doesn't have that much cloaked energy. There's not an Observer. He's going to target down this Templar, which I think is very smart.
Yeah, it's a very expensive loss. This early in the game, every Templar is extremely expensive, and right now, he's just going to be able to kill probes until the first Observer comes out.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good for Phoenix. He's got 6 kills on this Banshee, 7.
Yeah.
Not targeting down the right units. Well, he got nervous because his cloak's about to run out. He was targeting down the wrong probes. Don't target probes and gas, by the way, guys, if you ever do any sort of harassment, because if they jump back into that gas, then you don't actually kill them.
Yeah, one thing you can do, too, and we've seen players do this once in a while, is focus down the sentries instead of the probes. I think that's also a good decision in a lot of cases.
If the probes are running away like crazy and you're like not gaining anything because you want to chase them, then it's better to do that. Otherwise, though, it's much better to go for the probes in most scenarios, especially if you're teching. Because if you're teching, sentries aren't going to come into play that much.
Yeah, well, it's much more useful to do something like that if you plan on pushing, soon afterwards.
Right.
Something like that. So Phoenix right now is getting his engineering bays added on, more barracks. Looks like he will be going bio. And here's a drop of a couple Marines heading across the map right now. And his first Ghost are on the way, combat shield as well. So Phoenix looking in pretty good shape.
Yeah, except he is supply blocked. Is the only problem. He actually just started 3 depots, and despite doing all that harassment, he's been constantly about 20 supply down. And I think that's maybe just a product of his mechanics just not following through as he's harassing with the Banshee.
Well, he's in good shape in my heart, Wolf.
No, I'm not saying he's not in good shape. I mean, he did a little bit of damage, but the game was still very close.
Yeah.
Nice feedback, but not nice enough. He should target down the medevac.
And he does. Those Marines are kind of left high and dry.
Nice Stalker micro. Did you see that? Look at that. Keeps those Stalkers alive, both of them.
Yeah.
Wow, that was really nice. Both those Stalkers on 12 hit points and 8 hit points, respectively.
And I feel like I heard a Banshee somewhere. There is a Banshee down at the main.
Yeah, he got 11 kills. So total workers killed now 15. That's a lot, man.
That does help quite a bit. Now, Phoenix has pretty much caught up in supply at this point.
Yeah.
And the worker count is still about even, too. He's kind of been able to compensate for the chrono boosting that Juan's been doing. But, I don't know, the big question I have right now, it looks like Phoenix might be moving across the map for a push. Yeah, it certainly is. Kind of curious to see if he's just going to try to end it on 2 bases or if he's going to go for a third pretty soon. What do you think?
Well, he has started a 3rd command center right as you were saying that.
There you
so
go.
it looks like he wants to be aggressive as he takes that 3rd so he can secure it safely.
I love it when I say things like that and then they like start it as I'm talking about it. That's great.
It's always a good feeling. And Phoenix is going to drop here in the main yet again. The units of Juan are actually way out of position, so he may end up losing a few pylons, and he's actually making a bunch of pylons now. He could end up being supply blocked yet again by Phoenix's drop if he decides to use it right now. I think what Phoenix might be doing is because he has so much vision at that watchtower, he might be trying to wait until the Protoss units move out and then do the drop.
Yeah, that's a really,
and he's going to see this. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah. So there's a Marauder drop right now, focusing down a couple Stalkers. He will take out that Zeld as well. And a couple probes getting taken out, but I think the big score is going to be some of these pylons. Probably going to get at least maybe one more. Yeah. Yep, gets one more and makes a run for it.
Gets one more and gets out.
That's right, and I like that too. You know, it's good to see players not throwing away their units and drops.
Well, speaking of throwing away units, during that, he sent the Banshee to harass at the other side at the same time. It had 12 hit points left. There was 1 Stalker and 1 Observer at that other side, and that Banshee just flew to its death.
Well, it's good to see players not throwing away units that are inside of medevacs.
I know what you meant. I was just saying, like, I just happened to catch that, and I know you
like every time I say something about Phoenix this game, he does the opposite.
Except taking the 3rd, he did that. Uh-oh, these units on move, Command. Phoenix's units trapped.
And losing a lot right there. So many Archons right now. A lot of Archons for this point in the game. And not really catching any units with the force field, but the army for Juan is so scary right now.
And it gets up the ramp where Phoenix could have had a defensible position. There's so many ghosts here.
Oh no, they're all walking right into the Zealots. This isn't looking very good, Wolf.
No, it's not. The Archon's doing a lot of damage here, but looks like he will clean it up, losing some SCVs though.
Yeah, he's going to be able to hold it, keeps the bunker alive, and actually coming out of that.
Yeah, came out of that ahead. He didn't actually kill. He killed like 2 SCVs with that attack because the medevacs were prioritizing that.
Every time this game, every time I say something about Phoenix,
well, Phoenix is actually now taking like about a 40 supply lead, and he just played patiently, safely, had a ton of ghosts, and when that army hit, there were just too many units, and I think Juan overcommitted a little bit. I thought he was going to kill more SCVs, but it just turned out that they weren't killed fast enough. Yep. The Archons weren't firing at the SCVs, they were trying to escape, so they were on move command. That's really what was going on there.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes.
Archons aren't known for their agility, really. They're kind of
it's very difficult to micro Stalkers or Archons against SCVs when they get surrounded. As a from the Protoss player perspective, man.
That's right. Someone needs to make a UMS tester for that. Microing Archons against SCVs.
That would be so weird.
Archon SCV challenge. All right, here comes another attack at the 3rd base of MVP Juan. Not a lot there to defend at the moment. These units at the watchtower might be caught, though. Yeah, Phoenix is in trouble here. He's going to make a run for it. But in the meantime, this Nexus might get taken out. No, it's not. Never mind. There's a warp in.
Yeah, there's so many gates out for Juan that he can just warp and use to defend here.
Yep.
Feedbacks on the medevacs.
Really, I just wanted that Nexus to live. That's why I said that.
And an Archon being morphed right in the face of these Marauders. Juan being very active, mobile on the map. Phoenix doing the same thing. Both of these guys just stretching their arms out, reaching across.
You have to have long arms for a map like this, man. You have to be like
do.
Dulcium from Street
And
Fighter or
again, no
something.
one has ever broken down debris in the middle of the map on this map. Like,
You know what? I don't think it really actually makes the walking distance all that faster, to be honest with you.
I'd be curious to see. It seems like it would just slightly.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention you can see the debris with either Zelnaga tower, so it's not like it's going to be some big surprise in most cases, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I don't think
Well,
we're
when you
really
see
gonna
the
see it happen.
you see the push, like, oh, hold that thought. A drop here in the main.
Yeah, Warpin coming in right now. And Phoenix not really microing those units because he's too busy moving out across the map at the moment. So
And
that
Phoenix's upgrades are not as good as
what is he
Juan's
on
right
right
now.
now?
He's at +1 weapons. Juan's at 1-1.
okay.
He's about to have +2 though, so that's going to even out pretty quickly. 3 ghosts in production as Phoenix takes another base in the bottom right. He's actually making so many command centers. And the Archon Policy is going to back up here with his units. When there are only Zealots against Marauders, it's not something the Zealots want to fight.
Yeah, Charge definitely evens things up a little bit, but it's still not an easy fight for the Zealots. And Phoenix right now, his army is just kind of fragmented. It's kind of like in little pieces all over the map. Finally joining together right now, trying to micro against the Zealots. And, you know, those units are starting to get pretty low on health, and that medevac is basically out of energy, too.
Something that's interesting to note is if you go all the way back in time to... Well, hold on 1 second because we're having another drop in the main base. Phoenix just not letting go.
Yep.
Does get his units out. They almost die. If we go back to the beginning of this game where he went fast Templar Archives, he got those Templar out super fast. He finally researched Storm, but I don't think we've seen a single Storm this game. And had he been using a little bit better Storms in some of these engagements, I think he could have been much further ahead. Storm is one of the scariest things that Terran has to deal with. It's a huge investment for Protoss, and he's had it for such a long time, but hasn't really yet made use of it. Here we go. Will we see him use it now?
Nice EMPs on all the Zealots, taking away the shields for most of them. The Archon's losing a lot of shields as well. Nice Storms by Juan, though. And it looks like Phoenix, is he going to have enough? The units are pretty low on health right now.
Yeah, and he's got another Storm on that Templar, but it looks like Phoenix's units are going to escape, at least for now.
You know, those medevacs, one does get taken out. The other two, I don't think really have a lot of energy. And not a lot on either. Medevac almost out. That final Marauder running for his life. And it looks like Phoenix does still have reinforcements. Phoenix is keeping up on supply with MVP Juan right now. And in the meantime, taking that 4th base. So, you know, Phoenix can kind of hold off his opponent, gradually just kind of take the map like this. He's going to have a pretty good chance. But, you know, he's still behind on upgrades. Looks like not as much. He is getting his +3 weapons right now.
It's basically, right now, Phoenix is getting +2 armor, so he's at 2-2. And MVP Juan is actually at 1-1, but his 2-2 is finishing up pretty soon as well. So it's fairly even upgrades for these guys. They're about to be about the same.
Switch over to Colossus for MVP Juan.
Yeah, he's been making that switch just slowly over time. Now, a triple drop here. Going to go into the main. Phoenix is going to bait the units away from the main first, though. Phoenix is doing a great job with this dropship harass. He's constantly kept it up, even doing it from the same location, just always baiting these units, then dropping at the same time.
He's going to need to be so careful, though, because that army is absolutely huge and scary right now for MVP Juan. Nice.
Yeah, well, EP there. That was nice. I like that. Sacrifice the ghost, but here comes the drop at the main base.
MVP Juan's main base. There it is. Storm trying to take out some of those bio units. Pretty big drop from Phoenix, though. Those medevacs do have a good amount of energy, so Phoenix could conceivably do some decent damage here once he cleans up these units.
Is he going to get the core, maybe?
Yeah, is he going to go for the Robo Bay? That's what I'm wondering.
Ooh,
it doesn't
maybe.
look like he's going to get it. I don't think he's going to get it.
It's getting close.
I'm trying to say he's not going to get it so that he gets it, but it
77 hit points left on that Robo.
Yep, and everything's taken out here. So he could drop in and kill that Robo a little bit later.
He probably will.
Yeah, he's actually still ahead in supply right now.
Making Vikings, preparing for the Colossus switch that he's seeing.
Yeah, he's a little bit late on the Viking production, but, you know, he didn't really know it was coming, so that's understandable. And there are actually 3 Robos right now for MVP Juan that I'm finally realizing. So even if Phoenix killed that one, he would still be a bit behind. 3 Colossi about to pop up right now. That is a lot, man. And the drop does take out the Robo Bay. 1 of 3 Robo Bays, though. Yeah.
Medevac's still hanging out in the main after that drop. It wasn't cleaned up. Medevac feels lonely. It's like, why doesn't the Protoss army give me attention?
It's like, does anybody want to ride? I mean, I've got like plenty of space now.
Oh, the rocks in the middle are being destroyed.
Wow, that usually doesn't happen until later in the game like this, we've noticed. Storm on those units there, and is he going to be able to deny this? I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, this is bad for Phoenix. This is a huge army.
Yeah, that is a lot of Colossi right now for MVP Juan. Storming the Vikings, it looks like. Yep, Vikings taking a lot of damage. Does Phoenix have enough to defend this?
I don't know, but he is next to a planetary. That is going to be somewhat helpful, but good storms. And there are mostly Colossi left. He has to be very careful about this planetary, though.
Yeah, Phoenix doesn't have any SCVs left to repair, though. It's looking not very good for Phoenix. Can he reinforce in time to save this?
I don't think he can. He's going to have to let this planetary go, but he's also neglected. Basically, he's relinquished control of the center of the map with this as well.
Yeah.
Now, Juan can actually push around to the right bases, the bottom right, and I guess you could say like the 4 o'clock base are both very exposed now.
And that command center we saw under construction won't be doing any commanding or centering at all in this game. So here's the thing, though, is that Phoenix still is not actually that far behind in supply. He's got a really, really good infrastructure built up. He's still on 4 bases. He can still reproduce a lot of bio really quickly. It's going to come down to the engagements quite a bit. I mean, he needs to keep making ghosts, too. He hasn't made any of those in a little while because of the Viking production.
Very true. Little engagement in the middle of the map. Phoenix picks off a Colossus, loses a Viking. Pretty good trade for him.
That's right.
Now, the top right base for Juan is now up and fully operational. It's not like the Death Star that, you know, it's like, well, Phoenix right now, he doesn't think it's operational, but just wait until one of his Star Cruisers gets blown up by it. Then he's going to understand.
That's right. Then Lando's going to go, that thing's operational. And that fish guy next to him is going to be like, whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
That's actually what the fish guy sounds like.
Well, Admiral Akbar already told him it was a trap.
No, not that fish guy. The other
I know.
fish guy that rides.
No, yeah, I know what you're saying. I was just saying something completely different. Yeah, I wish I knew that guy's name.
It's like multiple fish creatures in Return of the Jedi. I don't know. George Lucas just enjoyed aquatic aliens in the end of that movie, I guess. Yeah.
Well, he was doing the whole Ewok thing on the ground, so he had to figure out something else for space.
That's true. Well, naturally, if it's space, fish.
Well, a little blink forward here by Juan is going to pick off some of these Vikings, but he has to be careful of the bio. He may be able to bait this into some Colossi fire. There aren't that many Stalkers, so he has to be very careful of this Viking force.
Yeah.
Nice control by both players. And poor Ghost is going to take out a poor little Stalker there.
Yeah.
Blue Flame Hellions.
Oh, I like this. I mean, Phoenix is really playing quite creatively this game, kind of doing these really interesting tech switches. Yeah, going for Blue Flame Hellions.
Also producing Thors, yeah.
Too. Very, very cool. This is actually one of the most fun TVPs I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, because this is one of those TVPs where we don't... You guys watched Yoda earlier today? Spoiler alert for those of you guys who didn't watch it. There was one battle in the game ended and when someone said GG, and I was like, I hate when TVP is like this.
Man. Yeah.
And this is not like this at all. Both players being extremely mobile on the map. This is exciting.
Yeah, this is
awesome.
Not so much fun for that Marauder that was just cut into like 6 pieces, but he knew what he signed up for.
Snipes going off here on these High Templar. He has Cloak, nice EMPs.
Yeah, catches an edge, another one basically on all the same units. And is Phoenix going to move in right now? He's going to lose a lot of ghosts if he doesn't. He's moving in. Stimming up his bioforces. That's a good amount of Vikings. A lot of units for Juan EMP'd already. Phoenix looking pretty good, but Juan has such a strong army right now.
Yeah, he's losing a lot of medevacs here as well. The Stalkers are going to blink to continue to chase.
Yep.
As far as upgrades, right now Juan is at 2-2. Phoenix is at 3-2, about to be 3-3. He's getting +2 weapons for his Vikings.
Yep.
And he's going to take out some of these Colossi here, flanking from the side.
Nice. The army for Juan is getting a little bit split up right now. So this is exactly what Phoenix was looking for. Feedback on the Thor, but guess what, Wolf? LOL, Thors have like 1,000,000 hit points, so it doesn't really matter. And yeah, Phoenix able to drive back the army of MVP Juan. I don't like that they put energy back in the Thors either, but it's actually not as bad as people think it is.
Well,
yeah.
I think it makes sense for them to have energy, personally, but
Really?
not a big deal.
You Protoss player.
I mean, I don't actually, there are very few situations I encounter where I'm using feedback on Thors.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect my life that much. It's like the election. I'm like, well, it's like, should I vote? It's like, I'm not living in the U.S. anymore. No. I'm just kidding, guys. Don't like actually read into this too much.
Does Wolf hate America?
Does Wolf hate America?
I can see the threads now. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing with Thors, is that they have a lot of hit points. So, and you know, the feedback doesn't do quite as much. Now, if they kind of sit around and gain a lot of energy, that's a different story, but I don't know, you can always like pick a Marine you don't like and 250mm strike cannon him to use up the energy.
That's true.
It's legitimate. Or, you know, what I have seen some people do is we see Phoenix try to do some damage to this 4th base up here. The other thing is people have been EMPing their Thors, actually.
Yeah, you can do that. That's something I've seen people do as well.
Yep.
It happens in very rare cases, but
yeah,
can be important. Now look at this huge Bioforce for Phoenix just charging through. He's going to take out the center Nexus here.
Yep. And he might take out some of Juan's units as well. No, he's going to dash right into the natural. If he can snipe some of the production buildings, this could be quite good.
Oh, if he gets these robos, that would be so good. He's going to get 1. Will he get 2? He will get 2. And can he get the Bay? No, he's not going to get the Bay.
No. But, you know, it's good enough. He killed 2 robo bays. He killed the Nexus. Those guys, man, somebody needs to make a movie or a mini-series on HBO about that guy. Those guys, that team.
The SWAT team.
Those dudes, Band of Marauders.
Well, right now, the upgrades for Juan, he's about to get +3. He doesn't have +3 armor. Phoenix is at 3-3. His Thors don't have any upgrades yet. His Vikings, of course, have +2. I was mentioning that earlier.
So Phoenix lives with Thorzane for like 2 days, and now he's making Thors in TVP.
250mm strike cannon being researched.
Yep, yep. I would imagine that
quite good against Colossi and Archons.
Pretty good against hallucinated Colossi, especially, actually. I believe those are hallucinated. Weird.
No,
maybe
they're
it was
real.
just an effect, yeah. There's some weird effect with like the fog, so it kind of looked like you could see through them. I don't know.
No, I didn't see that. I was like, what are you talking about?
Maybe I'm the one hallucinating.
No. Maybe. I don't know.
I blame the graphics.
Blame the graphics.
The wonderful
they were
graphics.
too good.
It's a beautiful game.
It is a beautiful game. This was a beautiful snipe, but only 1.
Oh, nice EMP again. And the good thing about the EMPs is even if you're not engaging right away, you can definitely be more positional about it. You can keep the army back a little bit more.
Very true. Protoss shields actually regenerate a lot faster than people think. But, well, hold that thought. We're going to have the engagement that may decide the game here.
Here we go. That is a lot of Zealots, Wolf.
That is so many Zealots. That is actually 37 Zealots.
Oh, nice EMPs. Is he going to move in? He can't really chase the army with all those Thors. All right, here goes Phoenix.
Oh, he's getting trapped in the corner.
Engagement. Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is looking really bad for Phoenix. EMP's hitting a lot of Templar, but not most of them.
Yep.
EMP is feedback, storm on everything. Phoenix's army getting crushed here.
Man.
Now, will Juan go for a counterattack? I think it's time, and it looks like he agrees with me. Moving forward now, Zealots charging in. Remember, Phoenix has better upgrades. The problem is Juan just has so many units.
Yep, he's got a pretty stable composition. He didn't have to spend a lot of money doing a lot of different tech switches. He was just getting Ghosts and Vikings and upgrades and Thors.
I think we may have reached. Yeah, I think we may have just reached the tipping point here, where he just has too much, and Phoenix is going to slowly start falling further and further behind. He's getting +3 ship weapons for his Vikings, but how much is that really going to matter when it looks like there aren't any Colossi? The Robos have been killed.
Well, I really like the idea to get Blue Flame Hellions just because those do pretty well against Templar.
Yeah, he didn't really use those as far as I could tell.
Well, that's the thing, is that it's really hard to be able to get in there and do it. You know, the idea is sound, but the actual execution is really tough.
It's like warp prisms. People are there's all these things people say about warp prisms. It's like, well, it's harder than you think, man.
Yeah.
Storming here on top of these SCVs, this planetary is not going to last very long.
Nope.
It will last longer than it will against that Death Star.
That's right.
That thing's operational, man.
All craft, pull up, but it's too late.
All right, so MVP Juan moving forward again. Has to be very careful. Phoenix doing a great job of splitting his units into a concave at bottom of that ramp, so he has to now maneuver around the side.
Yeah.
As far as income goes, Juan having twice the income of Phoenix, but Phoenix trying to change that.
Yeah, he's going in. He's going to try to take out the space, and I don't know. I don't know, Wolf. I think his army might be in big trouble. Phoenix is about 50 supply behind right now.
Yeah, looks like he is going to do some EMPs as he retreats. Going to take the Watchtower again. I think what Phoenix needs to do if he wants to get back in this game is play so turtly, and again, he's trying to do a lot of different harassments, but every time he does, Juan takes a further and further lead, cleans up his army again. What Phoenix needs to do is at least be like, at the very least, have the supply disparity be about 20, not 60. I think he needs to wait. He's got enough money to remax again. He just needs to be a little bit more patient.
Yeah.
Killing these bases of Juan isn't too important, given that Juan has so much money already in the bank, and he's not, he's not mined out from most of his bases yet. Well, actually, I take it back. He's He's only got 2 real mining bases right now.
I'd kind of like to see Phoenix go back to what he was doing a little bit earlier in the game, which is kind of build up a force, stay defensive, and then drop a lot.
Yeah, exactly, the drop. That was the other thing he could do, is if he's going to do this harassment, if he goes in the main and targets down specific pylons, he can actually unpower all the gateways.
Right, right.
Killing these next side just isn't really being all that helpful. And uh-oh, this could be the end for Phoenix. His entire army caught out of position here.
Yeah, MVP Juan with so many units right now. I really don't think Phoenix has what it takes to take this army out.
Nope.
GG, there it is. And MVP takes game 1. MVP Juan defeating Fnatic F.United Phoenix. And I gotta say, I loved watching that game. That was a lot of fun.
That was a really exciting game. It was quite long.
Yeah.
And there was an exciting TVP where there was action all over the map.
Yep.
More players should play like those guys did.
Yeah, that was really fun. It was really good from an entertaining standpoint. I really like that Phoenix was willing to kind of try a lot of things that hadn't really been tried very often before. Oh, careful with the monitor there.
Well, he's going to give a hat to the fan.
Man, everybody's going to be wearing those by the end of the broadcast.
I know you see anyone wearing this hat in Korea, you know they've been to the GSL.
That's right. CP. I wonder what that stands for.
I'm sure someone will tell us, tweet at us. Now, Phoenix's problem in that game was he was actually ahead for quite a bit of that game. My hair's doing that thing where like the piece hangs down. I like see that over there on the screen. Phoenix was ahead, but he played too passively at certain times. There was a time where Phoenix had 5 bases and Juan had 3, and Phoenix was up on supply. Yeah. And I was like, well, how can Phoenix lose? He was like 30 supply up, and then he just... Well, he had a lot of bad engagements. His army, like you said it best, and you said his army was fragmented. Always fragmented. And you see that a lot with players that are really harassment-oriented, where they never have that big army, and the Protoss does, and they lose a little army over here, lose a little army over here, and then suddenly this Protoss army just gets too big, and you reach the tipping point where you're like, oh, now I can't actually make him turn around, and I'm dead.
That's the thing, because you like feel all good about killing so many probes and stuff. You're like, oh man, I'm harassing like crazy, and then he just brings his army to your base and kills you. And that was kind of similar to what happened in that game, only stretched out over a much longer period of time than you would normally see with something like that. But yeah, I mean, I love the tech switches that Phoenix was doing, the Blue Flame Hellions, the Thors, and things like that. But I kind of feel like that's partially to blame for the loss, too. I mean, if you just stick with Vikings and Ghosts and Bio.
The Thors were an interesting idea. You got the strike cannons, you didn't use them. It may have been because of feedback they decided to get them. We won't really know. I mean, maybe we could ask them later. Yeah. Strike Can does pretty well against Colossi, but anyway, we're going to see which player F.United is going to pick next.
Is it going to be?
Who is it going to be?
Another foreigner? Or is it going to be one of their Korean pros?
They're like trying to decide.
It's like we didn't think about this. We thought Phoenix was going to all kill.
Is it going to be Thorzane?
Thorzane, all right. I've been a fan of this guy for a long time, Wolf. I'm excited to see him out here in Korea. Really happy to see him playing the GSL. Is he going to make Thors? I don't know. I talked to him at MLG a little while ago right after the nerf. He's like, well, I don't really think I'm going to do that anymore in TVP. So has he changed his mind? We'll find out.
Yeah, you guys can get some info on this guy. Of course, he's on the team Mouse Sports, a great team over in Europe. A lot of awesome players on there like Mana and Maro, for example.
They've got a lot of good players over there on Mouse Sports.
He's a Swedish player, obviously. We saw him play just yesterday in Code A. Unfortunately, was taken out by Yu-Gi-Oh!
If I remember right, though, he was the only person who took a game off his opponent, or did Naniwa take one too?
Nope, Naniwa was 2-0 as well.
So yeah, Thorzane is already beaten, at least won one game anyway in the booth here at the GSL. So most successful of the foreigners to come out this season so far, I'd say.
Maybe that's why they picked him.
Could be. But he's a very good TVPer, obviously. So that's, I'm sure, another reason for it, too. Of course, everybody remembers the TSL3 where he took out Naniwa, actually. It's funny how those guys keep, like, running into each other after, in both matches and then playing together now.
Yeah, they're Swedish rivals and friends.
Yeah, that's right. They are actually really good friends, too. But here they are playing together in Korea. And Thorzane, I guess what I was trying to get to sort of was that he's good at TVP, Wolf.
Yeah, he is pretty good.
He's a good TVPer, yeah.
Absolutely. So, and we're going to have a quick coach interview, so stay tuned for that.
이번에 첫 출전하게 됐는데 저희가 이제 선수가 적어서 그 전에 출전을 못해서 이번에 연합팀으로 나오게 됐는데 이렇게 첫 출전하는 만큼 저희가 연습도 은근히 많이 했어요. 그래서 좀 많은 기대해 주시고요. 멋진 경기 이번에 보여드리겠습니다. MVP나 뭐 모든 팀이 다 강팀인 걸로 알고 있고요. 저희는 일단 뭐 이제 첫 출전하게 돼서 그냥 배우는 입장에서 이렇게 편안하게 이제 경기를 치르려고 하고 있습니다. 이번에 MVP 팀과 뭐 첫 경기 치르게 됐는데 저희 뭐 기존의 뭐 폭스 팀과 그다음에 이제 외국 선수들이 이렇게 연합팀이 돼서 많은 연습해서 준비를 많이 했습니다. 그래서 서로 멋진 경기 펼치길 바라겠습니다.
OGS전 이후로 거의 한 달 만에 GSTL에 다시 나오게 됐는데요. 다시 감 찾는 게 더 중요할 것 같습니다. 뭐 선수들은 자신감 있게 지금 뭐 자신만만해하고 있고요. 오늘 결과로서 보여드리겠습니다. 예, 우선 해외 대회 경험이 많은 선수들로 구성이 되어 있어서 아마 경험 면에서는 확실히 저희가 많이 못 미치고 있습니다. 그렇기 때문에 오히려 이런 경험을 통해서 저희 선수들도 이런 방송 경험을 쌓는 거를 이제 자주 하다 보면 더 적응력이 높아져서 좋은 결과로 나오지 않을까요? F.United전 상대 선수들이 지금 뭐 박준 선수나 장재 선수가 워크래프트 3 국가대표로 결정이 돼서 연습을 많이 했을지 좀 의문이긴 한데 원래 잘하는 선수들이라 저희 선수들도 아마 최선을 다해서 준비했고요. 저희도 최선의 전력을 다해서 상대하도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 저희가 꼭 이기겠습니다.
So there you have it. The word from both coaches. There, of course, is the F.United coach right there. And, I like what he said, about taking this team and kind of creating it from both Korean players and foreign players. It's a really kind of unique new thing in the GSTL. So, very cool. And I was going to mention one other thing, too. I'm kind of seeing that same excitement from a lot of the Korean players that I saw back during the World Championships a couple months ago, where they're actually really excited to play against these foreign players because there is this sort of like microcosm of StarCraft 2 in Korea where it's like the Korean scene and everybody does tend to kind of play in a very similar manner, so they like to play against these foreign players and see all these
they don't know what
styles.
to expect. One thing that a lot of people don't realize about being in Korea is that a lot of people pick strategies based on players they've seen them on the ladder, they've played them before, and they're like, oh, I know this guy, I'm going to void ray all in him because if I don't, I might lose. There's like little decisions that go into that. But when you play against someone like Phoenix, you're like, well, I've never played him before. I don't know what to expect.
So can he suddenly get Thor's 30 minutes into the game? Who knows? Yeah, it's there, of course, is MVP Juan again, winner of our last game. Can he get another win for MVP? We'll have to beat this guy, Mouse Thorzane.
Yep.
And looks like our next map is going to be Terminus.
Another large map.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how these TVPs play out on these bigger maps like that, because there are a lot of instances that, you mentioned earlier where it's like macro, one big fight, GG. And then there's other instances like the game we just saw where there's a lot of harassment-oriented play. Now, we're seeing two very different Terran players here. Phoenix is a very harassment-oriented player, whereas Thorzane is a very, macro and very patient. Yeah,
patient. Yeah, that's the best way to say it.
We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, exactly. We even saw that yesterday in his Code match. Anyway, guys, we're going to jump into this game. It's going to be Thorzane versus Juan. Can F.United tie it up, or will MVP pull ahead 2-0? Let's find out here at the GSTL.